Your voice was very low. Yeah, the voice pitch was not there. No, I think might be because
Yes.
Is it better now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. So, good day, everyone. So, as Dr. Hafiz introduced me, my name is Khaldoon. I am the CEO of Quanta Smart. So, for today, and thanks for the organizer of this event. I think we heard a lot of um, great stuff from technologies impacting the current situation. From our perspective at Quanta Smart, being in the consultancy area, we thought that maybe for today we could share with you some of the remarkable technology trends that's been under focus during the pandemic. How did this technology help and will continue helping us moving toward fighting this pandemic? And specifically, we're gonna talk about the role of Internet of Things in this battle. We are almost at the end of 2020. It's almost been a year. The news are very optimistic, but that was a very tough and expensive learning curve for all of us in the business. So, as you remember, the 2020 started with this pandemic news, and I think one thing we could have get here as a conclusion of this pandemic is we are experiencing the change of the current world, okay? And when we say this from a different perspective. Business perspective, health perspective, the way we are doing our businesses, the technology helping us in doing this business, and moreover, our day-to-day habits. Nobody of us thought that you're gonna start your day going out from your home wearing a mask and thinking about social distancing and try to minimize your interaction with the people. But despite that, the humanity was always being able to come across difficult situations, always beated the situation and come up with creative solutions. Now, luckily, in this, let's say, period, or in this epoch, we had technology supporting us to do the battle, do the fight, and hopefully all the indications is we are winning there. And there is no doubt, that technology was always been there to help us as a human being in fighting pandemic and other difficult situations. Now, during this pandemic, people started seeing more technologies being used, more impactful trends on these technologies that people start experiencing. And within the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're gonna go through what are these top trends and technologies that's been impacted by the pandemic, but meanwhile helped the human being, helped us to continue living our life during this tough situation. So if we start with the first one, is the online shopping. You know, I think the number of the online shopping applications, online shopping stores, the amount of them that being presented to the market during these times is the maximum that we have ever experienced, maybe in the last, let's say, 10 years. You know, people expected this, but didn't expect that this trend is gonna occupy, let's say, the world. If you remember, in 2002, when there was another pandemic, not as major as this one, but that was SARS, you know, the outbreak out of SARS led to a great transformation and growth for the business to business and business to consumer. 2002. 2020, we are seeing the transformation of a new type of shopping, which is the online shopping. And that was like, you know, it has a major impact on how people, how the user experience, you know, continue his life. You know, while we're talking about this all technologies, we need always to remember that user experience was always a major driver. You know, we wanted to continue the shopping. There was lockdown. There was rules. You know, in some countries there was a completely lockdown because governments wanted to stop people interactions. Online shopping was always the exit to do this. So this is, you know, the first technology trend that we have seen. The other one, contactless payment. I think, or let's call them the digital payment. This is one of the huge transformation that happened to the way of payment. You know, you go to everywhere, people always asking you, like, you know, it's preferable to use a digital payment. And applications like the Apple Pay or Samsung Pay or all the other technologies started seeing more and more acceptance by people. You know, rather than I hand the cash, give it to the people, or even hand over my card. With the digital payment, you just tap your phone and everything is going the right way. And that was a major transformation, impacted different industry, and one of them is banking industries that started to accelerate their digital adoption, their digital transformations to accept this type of payment. Another trends that impacted, and we as a human being, we always have the exits to deal with every single situation, is the remote work. You know, when the year started, I think around February, when several countries decided to go on a lockdown, then the idea of remote working started to appear. Now, for technology-based companies, that wasn't something new, honestly, but that was something that was big. You know, nobody thought that I have countries that are in total shutdown and I need my work to continue. So I need to start accept the remote working. Of course, when we talk about remote working, we have to think about all the factors, all the elements from the technology companies, from the community of the technology, that they have supported companies and business to make sure that their employees can work remotely. So thanks to the technology companies, you know, we have platforms similar to the platforms that we are using today, Zoom, you know. These guys, they have seen a massive growth because they have just delivered what people wanted to continue their business. Microsoft started to enhancing on their collaboration tools, Microsoft Teams. We saw Cisco started to push the WebEx in a very simple and a very light way on the users. So that was from the technology side. Also, from the other side, which is telco companies, regulators, you know, they started to open bandwidth and allow people to do the voice over IP, the video over IP, to do the business things. You know, we all, you know, we live in the Middle East. We know, like, you know, majority of the countries here, they didn't had that luxury of using quality video over IP or voice over IP. Pandemic has helped making the decision toward that. Now, as I said, a lot of companies, they allow their companies to start, their employees to start working remotely. Some of them, they want even very aggressively toward that by saying, okay, till the end of the year or maybe till the next June, people, they can work remotely. Now, I have to say, and this has nothing to do with the technology, people at first, you know, and I'm sure each one of you had realized this. At first, we all, as a remote worker, we felt depressed because we are not used to the online collaboration, to the remote collaboration. But I think after the first 6 months, things started to change and people, they started to accept it. Of course, you know, the remote working is not going to replace the physical working, but it's a great support area. Distance learning. Distance learning was a major change for a lot of countries, a lot of people, a lot of students. We are not used to distance learning. And when I say you, we as a parent, okay, maybe you are doing some distance learning for some executive education, for some postgraduate, but introducing this term into primary schools, into kids, and ask them to continue their learning journey using distance learning, that was a massive transformation. Now, again, technology companies through their platforms and applications, telecommunication companies and governments with their rules and regulations, allowing this was major helping factor here. And just, you know, when we talk about distance learning is not only about, okay, educating the student, educating students at universities, but some government, and allow me to say smart government, they use the distance learning element, this technology, okay, even to teach people how to deal with the current pandemic, how to avoid being exposed to the pandemic, okay? I can give you one initiative that come to my mind, which is, you know, the Mohammed bin Rashid University, when they announced, you know, they had a specific certificate for people to get educated about the pandemic, and it was open for public. It was a great effort to teach the people, you know, how to deal with this pandemic, how to wear the mask, you know, what is the real amount of distance you have to do. And from a great university specialized in educating specific medicine topics, that was great effort. Another one which is really connected here to what we are talking is the telehealth or the telemedicine. Okay, that was, it was there since ever. Okay, but people always reluctant on using it, and I think all of us in the community were being forced into that corner to start using the telehealth, to start using the applications from several medical institutions, several clinics and hospitals, to start communicating with them, asking them about the situation. When the pandemic started, even normal people with a normal flu, they couldn't visit the hospital because there was a kind of a paranoia around this. So they used this effectively. The other one, and I think this one took a huge place for every one of us, which is the online entertainment. Suddenly, people used to entertainment. They wanted to go to cinemas, they wanted to go to playgrounds, and we found ourselves locked for maybe a week, two, some countries, it was months. So online entertainment took a huge part in helping people during these times. Applications from all over the world, but also, we have seen a lot of official areas and official ministries taking place to provide, a virtual visit to their museums and their cultural centers. New York City, for example, they have done great initiatives. Here in the Middle East, we have UAE, Saudi, they have something similar for the cultural areas. So that was a great, of course, on top of all the other platforms that we all now know. Okay, from Netflix in the US to Shahid, for example, in the Middle East. Next technology was, people wanted to call it supply chain, but let me call it supply chain 4. We are in the industrial revolution 4, right? We are in industry 4. And we start seeing a lot of technologies contributing to industry 4. But I think with the development of all these technologies together, under the umbrella of Industry 4, we could say that during this pandemic, we reach into the supply chain 4. That was driven by massive technologies, from big data to cloud computing. But I want you to put 3 lines under Internet of Things, a major driver that contributed here. We'll talk about it in a while, but we need to make sure that everybody understands that, yes, Internet of Things, I would like to call it like, the core coordinators between all the technology, being a technology itself, but also a core for the other technologies. We start seeing also the 3D printing increased during the pandemic. We have seen that, yes, people are started using 3D printing. In some countries, they've been even the extra step by printing specific masks, specific objects to be helpful and useful during the pandemic. The other technologies that started to see major focus is drones and robotics. Drones and robotics are not new, but I think the increase of using them during the pandemic was amazing. Drones, they've been used for certain deliveries. There is a lot of pilot projects that started on that one, delivering even medicines to specific people in the quarantine. Robotics and specific type of drones, they've been used inside hospitals within the quarantine area. That's the treatment for the coronavirus happening. And without robotics and drones, this wouldn't be possible. The last one actually is, and I think we are now getting the results of it. And you know, this is 5G, and 5G has nothing to do with the pandemic, but I think it was an accelerated factor to bring 5G to life. People, we are saying 5G because it is the umbrella, it is the big tag, but actually it is the information and communication technology. You know, information and communication technology is being improved big time, and this is to support the humanity and us during the pandemic. So this is in a nutshell the technology trends that we have seen during the pandemic. Now, as I promised you, we're gonna shed some extra light on the role of IoT in fighting the coronavirus, COVID-19. You know, in the previous presentation and the one in the morning, presenters, they share with us some great and amazing applications and products, all based on the IoT, on how to prevent, how to protect, how to fight back coronavirus or the COVID-19. And this is amazing. And thanks to everyone who contributed through this forum in sharing this stuff with us. What I wanted to share with you is more of a holistic view on how is IoT participating in helping us as a human being in fighting COVID-19. We're not gonna go into the technicality and what is IoT. I think attendees and participants, they are maybe more advanced about the understanding of IoT maybe than I am. But let's just break down the major roles that we have seen, and this is going to continue on what is the real IoT role in fighting coronavirus. Now, the first one is definitely study the outbreak. You know, what's IoT do at the first level? Just collecting data. You know, there will be a massive amount of data that will be collected through all IoT devices spread out all over the world. And we're gonna have a huge bank of data that will help us to, and this is what actually WHO used in cooperation with all the countries, you know, seeing the flow of people with coronavirus from where they are going to where. This is a massive advancement for the technology, you know. Without IoT, this couldn't happen at all. The other thing is all this data will help us in collecting, again, a data bank for example, all type of symptoms that people might have during the COVID. Also, then through this IoT and IoT applications, we can put applications on specific devices, people, to prevent other people to contact with them. You know, there was a massive initiative by Apple and Google, you know, on activating that, you know, if you have been impacted by the virus, maybe it will give alert to people around you. And this is not, you know, actually, I believe, like, you know, the marketing was not pretty right, because people, they think, oh, I'm tagging this guy, we should get away. It's just like, you know, when we know that someone is impacted or infected, especially now we are hearing about a lot of cases where people, they don't get a serious symptoms on the virus, but we still, you know, we want to know who are these people, so we keep a distance. You know, it's not like, oh, to tag them, no, just to keep a distance, because somebody's are not able to fight the virus similar to the other people. The other thing is, some of these IoT applications is being used to ensure the compliance of the people during the quarantine. And this is something every single country, they have used it, you know. They developed applications based on IoT, okay, using wearables, using cameras, using all other edge devices to make sure that people are complying with the quarantine. Whether people are impacted, they had to be inside the quarantine, whether there is a lockdown, people are not allowed. For example, you know, during the lockdown in the UAE, and people just the government, to make sure that it is protecting citizens and people living in the countries, they even activated the radar screen, you know, the cameras of the radars to act as collecting of the movement. You know? You don't need to have a speed stuff. The other thing is, you know, monitor the patient. And I think this is something all the clinics, all the medical centers, all the hospitals are using them, you know. Not only the patients, we are also monitoring people, you know. And some malls you go, and anytime you want to enter, they wanted to measure your temperature. Some of them are even using an advanced IoT, using, you know, the cameras as sensors. These are sensors cameras to measure the body temperature. So the IoT helped big time in this area. And inside the hospital also, monitoring all the vital indicators, all the stuff through different sensors, different type of sensors, different type of edge devices to have a full idea about their situation. Finally, with IoT, will definitely make the production and transportation better. How is this going to happen? You know, we all heard that, you know, WHO already declared that, you know, vaccine is most likely going to happen this year, before the end of this year. So, you know, there will be a huge amount of medicines that's going to be transported, okay? Using these IoT devices, we're going to make sure that the situation, you know, the circumstances, the environment of moving these vaccines from temperature, from humidity, are within the recommended rules and recommendations, to make sure that they're gonna stay in a good situation so people can use them and can cure from it. This is just in a nutshell, you know, to share with you what's happening. But there is one thing, you know, I wanted to highlight here. Okay, United Nations, okay, with all the other countries, they have all agreed that the digital initiatives, the technology initiatives by all governments around the world, of course, with the support of the technology companies from all levels, had helped them in containing to certain level the virus, help in the research and development, and hopefully will help in protecting citizens and community from this pandemic. And hopefully, if there is something in the future, we will get to know about it before that. So UN in this week, they have announced what they call it, the digital compodium. Okay, whoever interested, just drop me a line. I can share the link with you. It's a full report describing every single digital initiative around all the world that governments are taking to help with containing and fighting back the virus. Technology is great, but we shouldn't forget that without the support of the government, without the support of the companies, of the business, you know, it's all collaboration to reach there. The UN report had specifically mentioned a couple of countries that are helping maybe above or more than the others, and that's one of them, of course, is the UAE. I don't want to take more time. I know I think I crossed the half an hour. I hope that was useful. If you need more information, please reach out. And if any questions, I'm open to take questions.
Hello, Khaldoon. Thank you very much. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
So if there are any questions from the audience, please feel free to ask, or you can type in the chat window. So there is one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khaldoon.
Yes.
Marwan, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khaldoon, for the presentation. Can you please elaborate on the product and services provided by ContaSmart?
Well, see, we are, let's say, a digital transformation boutique, consultancy boutique company. We help companies and organizations complete their digital transformation journey from a first step with the simple digitization, second, using the technologies and transform their business on using these processes based on the technology. And of course, by doing all of this, we always take into consideration the user journey, okay? Having always, for any type of service, kind of a user experience that help the customer. On top of that, we do some specific researches with innovation management and innovation assessment, helping companies going into the next step, the next growth step. I hope that was useful.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, we have some questions in the chat window. So there is a question, what sort of infrastructure systems we need for deployment in public spaces? So if you have any comments.
I think the infrastructure is already there. You know, we already have the infrastructure. What I believe, okay, if I understand the question, like, I think we need to enhance the infrastructure. This is one of the things that current technology providers and telco providers are working on enhancing. For example, 5G, one thing. Second, in specific countries, we have seen the enlargement of the bandwidth provided to the users so they can enjoy a large bandwidth that will enable them to use the technologies and the services. Now, and again, what I believe, the infrastructure is there. We just need to enhance the infrastructure and keep developing the infrastructure. And while I'm saying this, you know, I remember, you know, with this forum, which has started maybe 2-3 years back, even more, we always been talking about smart city, the city of the future. And I think what we have seen within this unfortunate situation, okay, is the real implementation of this smart city. It is a journey, and I think we are all part of this journey.
Okay, thank you very much. There is one quick question. So from Sabi, he asked about the role of open source solutions and its connectivity to the organization systems.
See, as I say, I think with the pandemic, we have seen a major collaboration between even open source systems and other companies, there was a holistic effort, okay, between all aspects of technology, government, others. All of these guys, you know, they are contributed together, because yes, I agree with Sabih. It has to be a full effort, you know. We shouldn't say, oh, only this type of companies they can do it, or the other type of companies can do it. You know, one of major examples here is, for example, you know, Apple and Google, competitors, the toughest competitors, but on developing that applications for the pandemic, for the COVID-19, on the sensing things, they were collaborating together. So we have seen even competitors collaborating, open source and major enterprises collaborating together, because I think all the people here, they had one goal, which is, you know, having the solution. I hope that I answered this
Yes.
clearly.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time, Khaldun. It was a great talk, and it was pleasure listening to your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.